Hi guys, I'm going to tell you about Sign of the Beaver, written by Elizabeth George Spear. The story takes place in the wilds of Maine in 1768. Matt, the main character, starts off at age 12, and around the middle of the book he turns 13. Matt stood by the cabin him and his father had built, wondering if his father would turn back, if he had any last words of advice for him. Before his father left, he gave him a present, an old watch that had been in the family for years. Then he gave Matt his rifle and took Matt's old gun. His father told him to cut one notch in a stick every day. Once there were 7 notches in a stick, he would move to the next one. Once all 7 sticks were done, his family should be back. If there weren't, he should start looking for them. Matt has let the fire go out twice. Back at home in Quincy, his mother would have sent him or his sister Sarah to go get a live coal from one of their neighbors. Here, they have no neighbors. In Chapter 3, Matt meets a man named Ben who invites himself in, eats his dinner, and tells him big stories, then steals his dad's gun. In Chapter 4, Matt realizes that Ben stole his gun, and now he only relies on his fishing rod because his corn and his pumpkins are not ready yet. In Chapter 5, Matt gets attacked by a swarm of bees while trying to steal their honey. Atien's grandfather saves his life and then takes care of him afterwards. Matt becomes friends with grandfather and meets Atien. Atien is forced by grandfather to learn to read English. In Chapter 7, Matt gets ready to teach Atien how to read. In Chapter 8, Matt does another reading lesson with Atien and reads him some of Robinson Crusoe, his book. In Chapter 9, after their 3rd reading lesson, Atien shows Matt how to make a snare for hunting. In Chapter 10, Atien and Matt go to a stream and Atien shows Matt how to fish with a spear. In Chapter 11, Atien shows Matt how the Indians use their hands and feet to make marks in the forest so that they can find their way back. In Chapter 12, Matt makes a bow. In Chapter 13, Matt and Atien are walking when they find a fox trapped in a white man's trap. Matt finished reading Robinson Crusoe to Atien and started reading to him Bible stories. He read about Noah's Ark, and Atien told him a similar story from his history. In Chapter 15, Matt and Atien find a bear when they're walking in the woods. Matt gets invited to Atien's village, and because it gets late, he stays a night. Matt and Atien talk about the war between the First Nations and the settlers, and Atien talks about how he lost both his mom and his dad. In Chapter 18, Atien's dog gets caught in a trap, and Matt and Atien's sister Marie have to save it. Matt saved Atien's dog, and now he is welcome in the village. Atien goes out to find his Manitou, which is an animal vision. Atien is back, and he stands taller and straighter and has a gun, and he invites Matt to go with them to their next village, but Matt refuses. Atien gives Matt a pair of snowshoes, maple sugar, and his dog, and Matt gives him a watch. Winter is coming, and Matt is working on the cabin. He fills in the cracks with mud and rocks. Matt has outgrown his clothes. He used a blanket and made pants and a shirt and made rabbit skins into mittens. In Chapter 24, it begins to snow, and Matt makes a corncob doll for his sister Sarah and a cradle for the baby. This is the final chapter of the book when Pa, Ma, and Sarah finally arrive. Matt is looking forward to telling his family about all the things he's learned from Atien. Thank you for watching!